city is if that's what they feel like they want to do, whether we like it or not. Jack Harlow is a prime example of him. He did what he had to do when he first dropped his album. He did what he had to do. And then now, since he got another deal or whatever the case may happen, he intentionally started wearing Louisville stuff.
Yeah.
That's just why? Because,
how can you hate on that?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Because now it's like, okay,
and I've
hate. I've got where I am. I'm cool. But now I decided to go ahead and rep that. Bryson Tiller was repping Louisville on his first album.
Really?
502 come up. Like all of that came from Tiller. But let's be for real. Where did we hear Tiller when he was here?
We didn't.
We didn't hear him. And like this, if we heard him, we didn't hear him on the regular.
Right.
And that's the problem that I have. Jack Harlow's the same way. We did not hear Jack Harlow on the regular. Jack Harlow has a music video with Cadence and Party All Weekend in the video at the old Barista Bar and Grill. And the song is called Friday Nights by Cadence.
We're talking about going back some years.
Nobody even knows that.
Yeah.
Because nobody's paying attention. Yeah, Cadence, the singer.
Yeah.
She's on royalty as well. But like, nobody even recognizes that. You get what I'm saying? So that was one song that he had done. Jack Harlow also made an appearance at Louis Vuitton. He made an appearance at Louis Vuitton 1 year too. And this is right when he started blowing up. He still made an appearance at Louis Vuitton. You know what I mean? So like, we gotta give people credit. Like, I know we want them to do more, but if they start, we just gotta back off a little bit. So that's cool.
Not only that, but you know what I'm saying, Bryson has worked with Harlow. Harlow has worked with other local artists here. You know what I'm saying, artists, other artists. So it's like it's a train where, you know, so I'm gonna pick somebody else up to work with and stuff like that. And I think it's big also.
Absolutely. But I think people, for some reason, here, I don't know why we don't collaborate as often.
And I say,
and I'm saying in our industry that we exist in, not necessarily, another tier up. I'm just saying in this little tier that we're in right now.
Artists don't collaborate.
We do, but it's not to the extent of like we should have songs from, so many artists back to back, just because we just trying to put out some good music. You know what I mean? And we actually talked about this on the last show. I was like, some of these artists are scared to collaborate with other artists. And I don't know why.
I said
good music is good music.
I said the same thing where I didn't understand why a lot of artists don't collaborate with each other.
But they don't hit with. Can I speak for myself?
Go ahead.
They don't rock with me because I've asked. I've been in inboxes and everything. Like, yo, what's up? What's good? You trying to? What you trying to do? And I don't get to it. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know why. You know what I'm saying? I don't know why, but
when it blows up, the price goes up.
I'm trying to help you now. Like, please let me help you out now before something magical happens, and then you're not gonna be able to reach you. And then you're gonna say,
you're gonna be hating on me.
He too big, man. I remember he was in my inbox and like, I already know how this gonna go. So I'm like, we do have to learn how to collaborate more. Right. You know what I mean, with people. So.
And I think another person that doesn't get the recognition that should, she gets it on a local level, but Sasha Renee, right? Mm-hmm. And Sasha is a phenomenal artist. Been putting in work for years, and that to me should be a name now that's on. She gets the recognition, but it should be on a Jack Harlow or Bryson level. I think it should be for me. I think her music deserves that type of recognition outside of Louisville.
I think she's picking up outside of Louisville because she did a lot of shows.
I just think it's past due for her. And me and Sasha used to get into it a lot over. That's like my friend I love to hate, but we used to get into it over social issues. Because she's passionate about social issues, and sometimes we were on opposing sides. But I always wanted to get her up here because the music is just phenomenal.
Well, here's the thing about Sasha. Sasha has been consistent while she's been doing music. Sasha is the type of person that makes good music and then she created a platform, which is the Vibe. So the Louisville Vibe happens every Thursday. So if you're an independent artist or you're just up and coming artist or whatever, you call yourself an artist, you have a platform.
Is that in the Highlands?
Yes, it's at Nirvana.
Okay.
It's at Nirvana. So you have a platform for you to go to every single Thursday. She didn't have to do that. She doesn't have to be there every single Thursday to do that. So you're absolutely right. Sasha Renee deserves more. She's going to continue to get it. She's going to continue to be successful. She is on her rise. We could be seeing the rise of Sasha Renee. But I know Sasha Renee is intentionally doing her thing her way. You know what I'm saying? So with her doing it her thing her way, it's going to come. And when it comes, it's going to be absolutely phenomenal. You know what I mean? She deserves it, though. She does deserve
Most
it.
definitely.
She can spit. Like, she's not weak. You know what I mean? It's not like we just trying to pump up an artist that can't really do art. Like, no, she's actually pretty dope. You know what I mean?
She
So-
reminds me, not musically, but just everything she embodies, it reminds me of a Rhapsody.
I said that too. I told her.
Have you?
I actually told her. Because I'm a big Crit fan, and when she was here with Big Crit,
Crit.
and
Yeah.
I was looking at her mannerisms on stage,
It
and I was
reminds
like,
me, yeah.
I see where this is going. So,
Uh-huh.
yeah. So shout out to Sasha Renee. That's the
So when you go to these concerts and you see like these major artists coming in, do you study the way? they-
Absolutely.
Yeah.
If I could pull out some paper and pencil, like I take so many mental notes. Like I'm just looking at them like, yo. And I tell people I become a fan because I want fans to act a certain way when I'm performing. So I want to be a fan. So I want to jump up and down and do all of that. So then I can understand what it feels like to be a fan, and then I can understand how it feels to be the artist on stage giving the fan what they need. So that's how I look at everything. Big Crit here. I want to go to the front. Hey, Big Crit. I want to do all of that.
Right.
I want people to do that to me. So you know what I mean. So I got to know how to behave. I was watching how he was taking pictures with people and smiling.
Cool. He's cool.
You know what I'm
Really
saying?
laid back, cool.
You know what I'm saying? Like
he
I was.
One of my favorite artists.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
I'm saying. I like the times when I was working at the Mercury Ballroom, and we having all these artists coming in.
Yeah.
It was a lot of times where I was like, I'm putting down my phone
Yes.
so I can actually
Watch.
the show.
Watch.
Because I think a lot of people now we too busy trying to capture the moment. We forget about the music.
Yeah.
So I put that phone
can't have
down,
my
man.
phone.
I was just blown away.
I can't
I'm
have
like,
my phone up.
What was his moment? Mount Olympus, you think? Was that his moment in music?
I don't know, because I feel like I feel like he ain't got his just due.
Me too.
Yeah, I feel like he's so
And
underrated.
I feel like it's because he's from Mississippi.
You think so?
I feel like the industry as a whole hasn't embraced him. Not fans. I feel like the machines haven't embraced a Mississippi
But he
artist.
is one of them artists that said, I don't need a label anymore.
Yeah.
So he is one of the artists that said it, like, hey, I got a major deal. I dropped that album, and then, hey, you know what? I'm good.
I still don't think, because when I listen to him, I still listen to him, but when I was, I have like 3 or 4 artists that I feel like was on top of it at the time. It was Cole, Kendrick, Wale, and Crit. There was my 4 where I was like, oh man, they coming with bangers. But out of all 4 of them, Crit didn't get the recognition of his music.
Now let's go to something you just mentioned a minute ago, right? When you said when you watch artists on stage, you watch their stage performances. I'm gonna get back to that because I have a question for that too. But nowadays, with social media, radio, and just your influence, your personality being everything, right? I watched that happen to Wale. I watched Wale make tremendous music, and I'm sitting here thinking like, why isn't he? Because in the beginning there was Cole, Kendrick, Wale, and I want to say Big Sean. They were kind of sharing that lane. And then you watched Cole and Kendrick excel, and I kind of got disappointed in a couple of Big Sean projects. I thought he could have did better, and he didn't. And then I watched Wale fall behind the 4. And it wasn't the music, it was Wale's interviews. And I didn't realize, from doing interviews, I would watch them. I didn't realize how much influence you as a person can have on a fan.
Yeah.
But people would watch
Absolutely.
these interviews and walk away from it with a distaste for Wale, and it affected sales and his career and everything. I walked away from him like he was so defensive. He was so like a chip on his shoulder, and it made me kind of feel differently about the music. But I was able to set it aside and recognize the talent. But I think it hurt his career.
Well, music-wise, it was for me. I didn't, because I liked Ambition. Ambition was like absolutely cold, and that was it for me. I mean, yep, for me.
Wow.
Not saying that it's not good.
Right.
It's just that could have been whatever you're saying.
Right.
Like that just and the media helps. So like
Yeah.
when the media finds that out, they help out a little bit. They're like, well, people ain't really rocking with you, so yeah, you don't need to come on our show.
See,
You know
but
what I mean?
I
And
felt
things
like
that.
I felt like well, J. Cole, he done went all the way, left where it takes a person with a high intellect to understand what he's talking about.
Which fan base is college kids?
I feel like he's on that Nas level where I feel like he's talking about so much stuff and people can't really catch on to what he's talking
No, I don't
about.
think that at all. I think J. Cole literally took a page out of Jay-Z's book. He's gonna start business. He's just creating his business. Like he's creating a platform to be like, you know what? Okay, you guys like me. You like what I'm doing. Even I think at his show, first of all, at his show, he put on Young Thug as his opener or whatever. Nobody would have thought
J. Cole and Young Thug,
they
right.
would have been together. So that was dope. And then I think at his show, he came out. Didn't he have like a KOD? So at KOD, I always thought there was a featured artist.
Right.
Found out the featured artist was actually J. Cole. So that's actually him. So he comes out at his concert in a mask first, before Young Thug.
And KOD were no featured artists, right? Was KOD no featured?
Right, no featured artist, but he
Right.
said featured on there, but it was really J. Cole.
Okay.
He just put like a random name on there or something like that.
Okay.
So he came out at his concert in a mask or whatever and did something and then left off stage. He basically opened up his own show. And nobody knew who it was.
It
until
must
the
have
end of it.
been before he came to Louisville.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like he's on another level, and that's why we don't hear from Kendrick that much. Kendrick will give you an album and then let you sit.
Jay did the same thing.
You feel me?
Yeah.
I'm like, here's the
Well,
album.
we know
and
we
we'll
know
let you
Kendrick.
sit.
We know. See, when I say like an artist disappeared,
Yeah.
they mean they in the kitchen cooking.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Because like Crit, that's the thing with Crit. Like Crit drops his albums, Crit comes out. People forgot that Crit dropped like I don't know 2 or 3 EPs before he actually
did.
dropped
He did.
his album. So like it's so much behind that. People like when you don't see somebody, that don't mean they're not working, man. They just the industry is a little bit different. They're in control of everything. They only use the labels for distribution now. Like, hey, well, I don't need a label, but yeah, I do because y'all gonna reach them. So
They
if you
reach
just want
numbers
to
in places that
yeah, if you want to just give me a distribution
Yeah.
deal,
Shout out to
I'm
Master
good
P
with
for
Yeah, right.
for creating that
Right.
lane.
right. I'll definitely. I'll take
Master
that.
P,
I'll
the
take that.
Migos,
Yeah.
Gucci. You
Yeah,
know, there's a
I'll
lot of
take
people that use that Master P format, like Gucci, Migos. They like, I'm gonna flood you this music. And
Absolutely.
Okay, now let's go back to fan bases, right? I think that's very important because I was having a discussion with someone about one of my favorite artists, Fabulous, not too long ago, right? And the response was, yeah. Well, I have a lot. I like lyrics. So the conversation from the person was that, what is he? Like he was a has-been, right? And I think people don't always understand fan bases. So at times, if you're a mainstream artist and you're extremely popular and you're getting spins every 20 minutes on major radio, right? That's a certain lane. That's a certain lane that comes with certain deals, certain structures, certain financial investments, record companies, whatever. You may have another artist that is not as popular on the mainstream, or the music doesn't appeal to a mass audience, but they have their lane and their fan base. So they may choose to either have a smaller deal or independent, or stay independent and structure their music to those solid 100 or 200,000 people that buy their music. And they may still financially eat as well as the major artists because they don't have the major financial investment from the company in it. But because an artist is catering, especially with the streaming services and social media now, to their particular core fan base, they can put out music without the heavy exposure on mainstream channels and still actually be working well. And I think if an artist masters that, they can still do very well in the industry when some people think they're flying under the radar or maybe not be working.
Yeah, but that's the point of being independent.
Right.
Because when I'm independent, I have my target audience, so I don't have to create a target audience. I have my if a lot of people for example, like Big Crit. Okay, when I came out with the album, it was to hit the world, right? So it hit the world and it did what it did. Now that I didn't re-sign with that label, I know who to go to because of the relationships and the networking that I built up with those people when I was signed to the label. Because those people will still work with you without the label.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? So that's why you're supposed to be so personable with people. And that's why you're supposed to be able to relate and network with people, because then when you need something from them, then you're able